Hello everyone. I wanted to place this trigger warning in front of all of my videos for this series because it has to do with teen suicide and the attempt of suicide in general. If this is something that is triggering to you, please enjoy one of my other series. This one can get pretty heavy due to the content. So I do want you guys to be aware of that. I also want you guys to know that you are loved, you are enough, and you matter. If you are ever feeling that way, in a suicidal way or depressed or something like that, please get out there and get help. It's not about pride. To just put that, you've got to put that away. If you are having a rough time, talk to somebody, talk to family, talk to a friend, talk to just a random stranger at the bus stop or something. You know, sometimes it's easier to get off your chest what you're feeling with someone you don't even know compared to someone that's family or friends, just because you don't have to worry about how they're going to think about you or anything like that. You gotta get those feelings out. I've got a couple of numbers here for those that may feel the way that they might be feeling. The purpose of this entire series is to bring awareness to teen suicide and suicide in general. So I do want to give you guys a couple of numbers. The first one, it's pretty simple. It's only 3 numbers. Call 988. If you feel that your needs won't be met from a regular hotline because you might be a member of the LGBTQ plus community, another number that you can call is 866-488-7386. Stay safe, love each other, and help those in need. The world is better with you in it. Thank you. Now enjoy the episode. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Today we will be starting our journey through Trigger by Susan Vaught. This is one that I ended up reading in high school. We had like a list of books that we could choose from for like summer reading and whatnot, and this one happened to be on it. At the time, I was in a very weird headspace. So this book kind of stuck with me. I was into a lot of more darker things. Still am, but I mean, I was actually in a darker mental state back then, because when you're young, you think you can get up and do anything that you can. But I was misdiagnosed at the time with something called a rare disease called Marfan syndrome. And what that is that it's where you end up finding people with like long arms, like lanky looking guys, very tall, very long wingspan, and then you just continue to grow. But the problem with that is there were a lot of health defects that could happen, like your arteries could become thinner and thinner and detach from your heart. Your retinas could just go out on you. They do the same thing. They just get thinner and thinner, and then they just quit. They just snap. It was a scary time in high school to just get that, to understand or be told that basically, hey, you're going to keep growing, but you're going to die, and it could be soon. I lived with that knowledge for I think I got that knowledge in 2009, or no, sooner than that, 2007. And I lived with that knowledge until about 2013 when a doctor said they didn't know what they were talking about. You don't have that. It's so rare. It's like a 0.1% chance of people in America at the time had that type of disease. So being in a darker headspace really, really drew me to the content in this book. It is about teen suicide. So, as my earlier warning has said, it does get a bit rough. So, today we're going to do what we usually do. We'll read the back of the book. We'll read whatever else is in the front of the book, and then get into the chapter. So, let's get started. Jersey Hatch doesn't know why his best friend hates him. He doesn't know how to keep random words from flying out of his mouth, and he doesn't know why he tried to shoot his own head off. Jersey does know that he is still alive somehow, trying to piece his life back together after a year in the hospital. He has to pass algebra, graduate high school, and relearn how to tie his shoelaces. But more than anything, Jersey needs to understand why he pulled the trigger in the first place, and whether he can stop himself from doing it again. For Kathleen, Dorothy, and Jerry, I don't have to tell you why. Okay. Chapter 1. I have this dream where both legs work and both arms work, and I don't have any scars on the outside. Dreams. No dreams. More dreams. On August 2nd, a Friday, a few weeks after my 17th birthday, a little less than a year after I took a bullet in the head, I finally got to go home. Dreams. Good old Carter Brain Injury Center. My fourth and last hospital was about to be history. Carter wasn't much to look at, just 5 brick buildings in a circle around a paved driveway. There was a pool behind the therapy building, tiny, and gardens by all the front doors, neat. It was clean, sometimes. The rooms were white, usually. We got to have our own bedspreads, anything but white. And the therapists were perky. Perky. That was a dad word. Mom probably agreed about the therapists, but I didn't know for sure. Perky. Mom wasn't big on words. Bank presidents focused more on numbers, according to Dad, who wasn't a bank president. When my parents came to pick me up, Mom didn't say much except, "Proud of you, honey." Example: "Hi, Mom. I got married." "Proud of you, honey." "She's a bank robber, and she has 9 tattoos." "Proud of you, honey." "We're planning a crime spree, starting with you, Mom. Hand over that purse." "Proud of you, honey." Sometimes she said it louder than other times, and sometimes she even looked at me. Just try talking to Mom. I guarantee she'll be proud of you, too. The day we found out I was getting discharged from Carter, Mom was proud of me for completing the program. Proud. I'd been excused from outpatient treatment, too, because I'd done so well. Proud. We'd have to go to counseling, but our first appointment wasn't for 6 months. The nearest outpatient doctor who took brain-injured patients was 100 miles away with a long waiting list. But the Carter shrink thought we could handle the break. Shrink. Handle it. Proud. Like there was a choice. We were good to go. We could handle it. Proud, proud, proud. There was a big yellow banner over my door to prove it. Up and forward, Jersey. I kept staring at the banner like its green letters might turn red, but they didn't. If they had, and if I told somebody, I probably would have earned myself a few more weeks of rehabilitation. Red, proud, up and forward. Or at least a bunch of tests and studies and stuff to make sure the bullet didn't take more than my smarts, the vision in my right eye, and the strength on the left side of my body. You're a lucky boy, Jersey Hatch. To my doctor, everyone was lucky. I had nightmares imagining a conversation between the doc and my mom. Your son's lucky, ma'am. I'm proud of you, Doc. Yup, he's a lucky boy, Miss Hatch. I'm proud of him too, Doc. Lucky. Proud. Lucky. Proud. Figured my dad had a great time at all those team meetings to review my progress. Never mind all the meetings deciding stuff about school and what kind of classes and help I'd need. I knew Dad had a great time getting Mom to visit me. She didn't much like coming to Carter. Even on the afternoon of my release, she came in for maybe 10 minutes, then went to wait in the car until it was time to leave. You've got to give her time, Jersey, the Carter shrink insisted. She's still distant because she needs to heal. So does your father. Lucky. He wanted me to work on insight, that shrank. Lucky. Proud. Said insight would be my biggest problem, except maybe paying attention to how other people feel, since the right side of my brain did all that, and the right side of my brain had a big hole in it. Insight. You're like a 5-year-old genius, the shrink always tapped the side of his head when he said stuff like that. Your intelligence, it's all there. But you don't have the social skills to use it. Pragmatics, Mr. Hatch. Focus on pragmatics. Insight, pragmatics, proud, lucky. A hand patted my shoulder. You ready, son? Dad's voice seemed loud in the hallway. Pragmatics. I'd looked up that word a bunch of times. Facts, actual occurrences, practical stuff. I managed to smile, but kept an eye on the green letters in the up and forward jersey banner. Hoping they would turn red after all. No such luck. Practical, pragmatic fact. Insight. Dad and I loaded my stuff in the car without too much trouble, and quick as that, I was in the back seat, strapped in tight. Mom started the car without revving the engine like Dad usually did. Is the house okay? I asked as we drove away from Carter. Couldn't help asking, even though I'd asked 100 times, because the worry wouldn't leave me until I spit out the question. I hadn't seen the house in so long, I was afraid it'd be gone. Yes, Jersey. Dad sounded annoyed, but he flashed a giant grin. He was sitting directly in front of me in the passenger seat. If I turned my head and leaned a little, I could use my good eye to see his brown hair and brown beard stubble in the side mirror. His eyes, they were brown too, darted from his window to the mirror. When he noticed I was staring at him, back to the window he went. Mom, of course, said nothing as she drove. If she had, I was sure it would have involved the word proud. I tried to stop thinking about the house so I wouldn't ask again. When I got nervous, it was harder to keep my mouth shut. The therapists all warned me about that, over and over. How much harder it would be outside of Carter. How much harder I'd have to try just to talk and think. Whatever. I'd try harder. But the house might have been gone, because lots of things were gone. Like Todd Rush. He'd been my friend since 3rd grade, and he lived next door to us. But I hadn't seen him since. Well, since before. I forgot stuff, so I asked Dad again, to be sure Todd hadn't visited. Dad said Todd and I hadn't been close for several months. Before, but I couldn't remember that no matter how hard I tried. My 15th year got blown right out of my head, along with a lot of the time after. The time during my 16th year, when I'd been in rehab. Sometimes I dreamed things and thought they were memories. Other times I thought I was dreaming and it turned out to be real. Like the house. Had something happened to the house? Is the house okay? The house is fine. Dad's teeth clenched in a pretend smile. Silence from Mom. She might have been an automated crash test dummy, except that she was driving. Had she always been so quiet? Crash test dummy. I didn't remember her being quiet. I remembered her being real funny and telling lots of jokes, but she hadn't done that in a long time. Dad and the Carter shrink kept telling me she got quiet when she found me. After, I mean. I didn't get that. Because I wasn't dead and I didn't die, but to Mom, it must have been a big deal, walking in on after. Only, I still wondered about before and after. I wondered if I really got shot in the head. Maybe I was in a car wreck, like most of the guys at Carter. The poster cube. When I first heard the nurses say poster cube, I couldn't figure out what a poster cube was, but I kept looking for one. Even after they told me to sit down, until the doctor gave me a shot, because I couldn't quit looking for that dumb cube and trying to go home to make sure the house was still there. Later on, I found out they meant post-acute. Post-acute hospital. Another kind of rehab. But I still didn't know if the house was there, and I kept worrying even though I didn't have to find a poster cube. Is the house okay? Dad let out a groan, then pasted on his smile again. It's fine, Jersey. Poster cube. Oh. I rubbed the scar on my right temple. Sorry. In the brain, out the mouth. I know. Dad glanced at me in the mirror. You've got your memory book, right? Want to write it down? I picked up the white binder off the car seat beside me, and the one with Hatch, Jersey, written in purple letters down the spine. Without much thinking about it, I flipped to a blank page, took the pen, tied to the book by a dirty white string, and wrote, "House is fine, moron. Quit asking." Then I left it on my lap without closing it. Didn't do me much good closed. A memory book was one of the things I had to deal with after getting shot in the head. If I got shot in the head. It could have been a car wreck. Most of the guys at Carter had been in wrecks, and lots of them had been drinking. Maybe I was drinking and got in a wreck, and did I wreck the car into the house? Before I opened my mouth, I glanced down at my book. House is fine, moron. Quit asking. The house is fine. My head tingled with relief. The house is fine. Mom coughed. Dad coughed louder. Some sort of parent cough, Morse code. I rubbed my scar and wondered why they didn't just tell me to shut up like the Carter therapist did. Fine, whatever. Harder on the outside. Harder out of the hospital. I had to try harder. So I told myself to shut up. Morse code. In fact, I pretended to stuff a sock in my mouth so I'd shut up. The sock usually lived in my head, right between my ears, muffling ideas when I tried to remember. For example, we were on the road home, and I already couldn't remember everything about leaving Carter. Only snapshots, this and that, and not always hooked together. I wrote most things down in my book like I was supposed to, so I turned back a page and squinted at the pen scrawls. It was my to-do list. My Carter shrink made me do it. 1. See Mama Rush and give her all the presents I made her. 2. Talk to Todd and find out why he hates me. 3. Pass the adaptive driver's evaluation. 4. Make decent grades. 5. Take the ACT. 6. Get a girlfriend. Beside pass the adaptive driver's evaluation, my occupational therapist had written, ha ha ha, good one. She wasn't being mean. She just didn't think I could handle being on the road with an occupational therapist and a physical therapist taking notes to make sure I had brain enough to drive. Besides, I'd failed it 3 times already, and now that I was out of Carter, it would cost $500 to take it again. Harder on the outside. Harder out of the hospital. I figured I'd get a chance once a year if I was lucky. Proud, lucky, proud, lucky. House is fine, moron. Quit asking. Oh, and some of the guys wrote on number 6, too. Stuff like, "You're so dreaming, Hatch." I probably was, but I figured dreams were okay so long as I didn't think they were real. I looked at the opposite page, at the most recent entry before House Moron. August 1st, 3 p.m. Said bye to Hank and Joey. Said bye to Alicia. Alicia gave me her ceramic duck. I made her take it back since it was her good luck charm. Lucky, proud, lucky, proud, pragmatics, pragmatics, pragmatics. The duck had felt cool and smooth in my hand. I balanced the book on my knees and studied my fingers, remembering. Alicia held on to it all the time. It made her feel safe and happy. Would I have gotten shot in the head if I'd had a duck like that one? If I got shot in the head, I mean. Did it hurt? 'Cause I had this dream. No. Only a dream. But did I feel the bullet slam into my brain? In the dream it burned and it hurt so much. So much. Just a dream, right? I gripped the sides of my memory book and squeezed. If I got shot in the head, I bet nothing went through my mind, and it did hurt. Maybe I had time to think, oh shit. My shrink told me I shouldn't dwell on trauma like that, and Carter taught me I wasn't supposed to curse under any circumstances. Watch your mouth, Hatch, the occupational therapist would say. That shit's in the past. Did I mention the occupational therapist could curse? Only the OT called it swearing. And she said I was supposed to do what she told me to, not what she did. Pragmatics, Hatch. Don't forget pragmatics. Quit goofing off, Jersey. Grip that ball if you want any of that hand back. Squeeze. Squeeze harder. The brain has no sensation. That's why they keep people awake during some brain surgeries. After they saw through the skull, it's no big deal. Now, squeeze the ball before I cram it up your nose. Curl those fingers. What are you waiting for? An invitation? Up and forward, Hatch. Get with the program. The least you can do is get better so your parents don't have to wipe your butt. Curl 'em, or I'll break your good hand. Squeeze that ball like it's a hammer about to fall on your nuts. The hand Nazi. I'd never forget her. Hell, she did a lot for me. Oops, not supposed to curse. Up and forward. No swearing. Harder on the outside. I didn't need an occupational therapist anymore. I'd get to see a psychotherapist, but that wouldn't be for months. Waiting lists. It was time to do things for myself. Proud. Lucky. I could have had... a very good duck. Curl those fingers. Duck balls. And hammers. Pragmatics. I was still thinking about hand Nazis and nut hammers and wondering why my parents didn't talk to me like the therapist did when Mom drove up to a takeout window and bought us all an early supper. She drove us to Lake Raven, really close to my house, and we sat there in the car at the wide end of the lake to eat. I turned my head to the right a little so I could see the water, all blue with ripples and sunlight on top. There were some benches close by and a little 2-rail safety fence. I'd been there a lot. I knew I had, only I couldn't really remember when, except for when I was lots younger. So I just stared at the water. It took me forever to eat hot wings with one hand, and I couldn't really taste them that much. But I managed, and I didn't ask about the house a single time, not even when Mom started the car and got back on the road. Not even when she hit the blinker and steered the car into our neighborhood. Right away, I noticed all the lawns were mowed up and down like baseball fields. Neat, like our four-house cul-de-sac. Neat, like our 2-story white house with black shutters. House is fine, moron, quit asking. Proud, lucky, very good duck balls. In a few seconds, I'd see the house for myself. I touched the messy circular dent in my throat. Tracheotomy scar. That's what happened when I couldn't breathe for myself. Some doc cut a hole in my neck and stuck a plastic tube through my trachea. The tube was hooked to a machine, and the machine pumped air into my lungs. In and out. Beep. Click. Hiss. Beep. Click. Hiss. I didn't remember that, but I learned about it at Carter. One of the therapists made me sit by a ventilator so I'd know what my parents had to go through the whole 71 days I wouldn't wake up. Beep. Click. Hiss. You need to spend more time thinking about other people, Hatch. It's not all about you. Beep. Click. Hiss. Can you imagine this day after day? 71 days? Can you? Beep. Click. Hiss. Focus on what I'm saying, what you're hearing. I want you to remember this. You can if you try. Apply yourself, Hatch. It's going to be harder on the outside. I rubbed a hand across my close-cut hair and fingered the upside down C on the left side of my head, where they cut open my skull and took out the bullet and a bunch of blood. The craniotomy scar had lost its swelling, gone pale, but it was still there, like the entry dent in my right temple. You're a lucky boy, Mr. Hatch. It's a miracle you're blind in only one eye. A little higher, a little lower. It's a wonder you're alive, Mr. Hatch. An inch. Just an inch. Must have a purpose. Up and forward. God must have his eye on you. God. I laughed. Dad stared at me in the mirror. Mom got stiffer behind the wheel. Oh, sorry, don't worry. I gave them my best half grin, which was all my mouth could do. Seeing myself in the rear view wasn't fun. He didn't say anything. God, I mean, at least not that I heard. I was just thinking about Proud and Lucky and ducks and stuff. But not the house, honest. Mom sighed as she pulled onto our short street. I let out a breath, too, because I was glad to see the house. It was still there, and I hadn't been talking to God. As we parked in the driveway, my fingers went from scar to scar. Did I really get shot in the head? Would God care if I had? The scars. But I didn't remember anything. Why? Dad had asked 1,000 times. We'd covered it in family therapy at Carter over and over, the not remembering. The shrink explained I'd never remember getting shot, and probably not the year leading up to it either. He said the gunshot wound was an open head injury, that it damaged my brain. Getting shot in the head was like unplugging a computer with nearly 12 months of data unsaved. The entries for those 50 or 60 weeks got fried. Gone. Poof. Most of my summer before, my sophomore year, and the year itself. Fried. Then I'd done 11th grade in the hospitals, and now it was the end of summer before my senior year. Fried. Nobody from my school came to visit, so they didn't ask how I got shot. Nobody from outside school came to visit, so they didn't ask either. My parents finally quit asking. Fried. Oh, yeah. Wait. Mama Rush. Todd's grandmother came once during the 3rd hospital, and she asked. But I don't think she believed me when I told her I didn't remember. Fried. In 3 weeks, I'd go back to school. Somebody probably would get around to asking that one question I couldn't answer, even for myself. Fried, fried, fried. I struggled out of my seatbelt, opened the car door, and got out. And I stood in our neat yard, which had been mowed up and down like a baseball field. The house stared at me. I figured if it had eyebrows, the one above my window would have gone sliding halfway to the roof. Even the house wanted to know the answer to that question I couldn't answer. Up and forward, down and backward, proud or lucky, very good duck or not. Jersey Hatch, why did you shoot yourself? That's it for Chapter 1. We'll see you guys next week with Chapter 2.